All right, so we got home about 3 days ago, and I'm just getting to the black tank, which, I like to do it the day of, but sometimes things happen, and my son was home alone for about a week and a half, and the house was destroyed, and it wasn't because of a party. Kind of disappointing. But anyway, so finally getting to the black tank. By the way, this is a RV Knowledge Group. I'm Jeff, and so I'm going to show you what I'm doing to clean out the black tank real well. Now, first thing is, just like I've read on a lot of people's posts, this is so low that if you use one of those, little wagons, little dump wagons, it's going to be too tall for the hose to do anything of worthwhile. So I unfortunately have to use a Lowe's bucket and lift the pipe up time and time again to get it clean. So this is from a previous motorhome that I have, the Flush King, which I used to like. However, with the way that my tube is set up, it does not fit on there. No matter what I try, it is too tall to go on there. And if you put a hose, extender hose, and put it down here, there's really no point to it. It's going to be so far away that by the time the water gets from here up to here, goes around the bend, the two bends, it's not going to do anything. So right now I've got it to the point where I dumped it. Then went inside and I dumped 3 gallons of water down there. Dumped this again, went inside, sprayed the hose down the toilet tube, dumped it again, went inside, sprayed it one more time, dumped it again. It was flowing pretty much clear at that point. But we're going to see if we can get anything else out of it. So I have a little system that I'm going to show you that I'm going to try today. And I think it's actually going to work pretty well. So we're going to walk around to the front. And so what I'm going to use is a power washer, and I bought this tip. This tip moves in different directions based on where you want it to. So I can set it to about 90 degrees, and I can get inside the tank and get in there pretty good. Now this is the abrasive tip, but it's not going to be that close to the sides of the tank that it's going to do anything. If you got really close, it might put a hole in it. The gentle tip just doesn't do anything. I already looked at that, and it's just essentially for spraying soap. So it's not going to do much. So I'm going to get all set up inside, and I'll come back, and then we're going to see how much stuff we can get out of here. All right, hello again. This is Jeff with the RV Knowledge Group. All right, so we're inside the camper. By the way, it's about 100 degrees in here. It's really hot. But something I wanted to show you. First of all, extra little piece of pipe, right? This is just a, I don't remember if it's 2-inch pipe. I think it's 2-inch pipe, but it's just a piece of your standard PVC pipe. This is great for, and I'm going to set this camera up here. This is great because I don't want to have to push that nozzle all the time. So if I do this and I tilt it a little bit this way, now I can pour gallons of water down here from my bottles that I generally keep next to the toilet to help flush my tank out. I can put the hose down there, the hose nozzle squirting down there if I want, and not have to kind of kill myself with my leg standing on that pedal the whole time, because that is a total pain. I do wish that this pressure washer fit right down in there, but it does not. So that would have been very easy. So I'm going to have to hold the pedal for that. But this is a little tip that's easy to do. All right, so essentially my pressure washer's on. We're going to put this down in here and squirt around, and we're going to see how much more junk we get out of the tank. By the way, if you've ever opened your, taken off your black tank end at the campsite, and you see like black, red, brown kind of, moldy looking stuff, well, that's called biofilm. It's basically in all of our pipes at home. It's in sewer pipes especially, and that's actually where your drain flies live. Drain flies live in the biofilm, which is just a really thin layer, super thin layer, probably about maybe an 1/8 inch thick, and it lines the pipes. And your drain flies lay eggs on there, and the eggs hatch, the larvae go under the biofilm, and they live in there. They eat all that organic matter that is the biofilm. It's generally not dangerous. I did a video on sinks. Biofilm is the same thing that might collect in the bottom of your dish drying rack if you don't dry it for a couple days. You get like that pink slime. That's biofilm. So the drain flies live in the biofilm. Pouring bleach doesn't do a thing, not a damn thing to the drain fly larva, because they're protected in that biofilm. They get in there, the bleach doesn't penetrate it, the bleach doesn't kill it, it only kills the surface stuff. It doesn't get in there and really kill them. So your drain flies continue to multiply even though you think you've treated them. So you have to get that biofilm out of there in order to kill your drain flies. So many people are out there with these crazy concoctions and remedies, and I even read some people use bleach and then ammonia. That's toxic. That can kill you. So anything that can kill, like the drain flies, could also kill you. So you have to be really careful. And another thing is, by the way, I hate watching videos where people don't clean their toilets. Clean your toilet before you make a damn toilet video. I am not watching your video if your toilet's dirty. I don't need to see that. So always clean your toilet before you're going to make a toilet video. But anyway, we need to get that biofilm off of the pipes, out of the tank as best we can. From the top, there's only so much we can do from up here. We can't get, my tank slopes down towards the dump valve and then turns into a big square. So I can't get the bottom of that big square from here. I have to do something from the outlet and come up, which is where like tank clean comes in handy. Tank clean has a lot of great things. I disagree with their some of the things they say to fill it up, let your tank fill with 3/4 till it's full, your black tank, and then dump it. I absolutely disagree with that, because the solids that float, you know, especially greases and things like that, which unfortunately are part of our everyday lives. My bathroom sink, which is just to the side here, goes into my black tank. So makeup, toothpaste, things like that that end up having grease in them go into your black tank and they float just like a septic system. Septic system has what they call the scum layer, which is grease and fats and things like that that float, and then on the bottom it has your solids, which start to decompose, and in the middle is water, and then the water in the middle goes to the next tank, and through an anaerobic process it gets clean. Essentially our black tanks are kind of like that. There's not a lot of air in there. It's an anaerobic process, but it's not like a septic tank that it hasn't been established for months or years, so it's not going to break down stuff like a septic tank. And you kind of don't want it to, because if it breaks it up into mush, that mush is going to settle. My problem with the tank clean video, the black tank masterclass they call it, is all that scum on top of the tank. The more water you get in the tank, the scum floats up, and then as you drain that water out, what happens to the scum? I mean, you think about it, you have a greasy pan in your sink at home. The grease floats all over the place, right? You put a drop of Dawn in there, what happens? The grease doesn't disappear. It doesn't make the grease go away. It moves the grease away. Oil and detergent don't mix. Fats are essentially oils. So it just moves away from where the Dawn drop was. And where does it go? The edge of the pan. And you can see that when the water gets cold, you have fat all around the edge of the pan. And so as you're dumping your full black tank, if you have those solids floating at the top, where are they going to go? They're going to stick to the edge of your tank, and they're going to coat your sensors. And I think that's why they say to add Calgon. Calgon's a water softener, and it just kind of makes things slippery, and I think that's why they recommend adding Calgon. But yeah, I'd say just dump your tanks, you know, when you want to dump your tanks. I have a 40-gallon tank. I can't fill it up with 30 gallons of water, and you know, kind of like they recommend. I can only fill it up with like 3-4 gallons of water, because I use a gallon to flush solids down. So if I fill it up with 30 gallons in a 40-gallon tank, now I can only flush 10 times before I have to dump my tank. My tank is shaped differently, and I actually have a video on how to avoid the poop pyramid and why you get a poop pyramid. And a lot of it has to do with the shape of your tank. It's got nothing to do with 3/4 full, half full, you know, completely full, all that kind of stuff. It has to do with the shape of your tank in a lot of cases. And you don't have a choice. You get what you get with these campers. They only have about a 6-inch space to put the tanks in there. Our tanks have insulation because it can be a winter unit. We don't have tank heaters. They're insulated, and when you run the propane furnace, it heats up those compartments. So our tanks are even smaller. They're even skinnier because of that. So yeah, the shape of your tank has a lot to do with why you end up getting like a poo pyramid and whatnot. So anyway, we want to go ahead and try to get this biofilm out of here. So I'm going to stick this down here, and we're going to clean off the tank. All right, let's see. It's gonna get a little messy, but you know what? Nothing gets fixed if you don't do it right. We're gonna see how that did. I see that there's scum essentially on the pressure washer. So we're gonna shut off. I'm gonna go outside. We're gonna dump the tank. We're gonna see what that did. All right, we're back again. I actually had to dump another gallon of just plain water down there because the pressure washer doesn't use a lot of water. That was maybe, you know, a quarter of a gallon total. So then I dumped another gallon of water down there to wash whatever it had taken care of, you know, wash that down to the dump valve. And remember, this was flowing pretty much clear before I did any of this. So adding the water, you know, this is it. I'd already dumped 3 gallons of water and used the hose twice on it, and it was flowing clear. So the gallon I just dumped down wasn't going to dislodge anything that wasn't already dislodged. So, we're going to take a look at what this just did. So after pressure washing down the toilet for a little bit and another gallon of water, and yeah, you can see it's pretty dirty water. We don't need to focus on it too much, but that's not clean water. So obviously it's getting things out of there. It's getting out things that I haven't seen before, which I'm assuming, I mean, getting down here, I'm gonna have to get this in the light. I think these are the drain flies and drain fly larvae mostly. Let's get this in the light and we'll see what we can see here. All right, so let's see. Those look like drain fly larvae to me. I will do a better job of seeing that that's what they are. But if those are drain flies and drain fly larvae, then all the stuff that I did before wasn't working on them. The dumping the tank, the flushing it with the hose, you know, that gets out a lot of the solids. But those flies were going to live in there. You know, had I camped again in a week or 2 or 3, there's plenty of moisture in that tank that they weren't going to die. They were going to come back again. So basically the only solution for drain flies is to get rid of the stuff they feed on. So you have to get rid of that biofilm as best you can. So I'm going to have to find a way to get up inside that, the dump valve on the outside and wash that out real good. Now the drain flies will not live in water. They're not an anaerobic insect. They need oxygen. So they'll only live in the biofilm. They'll come up, they'll grab some oxygen, they'll go back in the biofilm. So they're not going to be in any areas where there was a lot of water. You know, that's one benefit of saying fill your tank up as much as you can. You'll limit those drain flies, but they will move as your water level fills. They will move and move and move, and eventually they'll just climb up into your, you know, the highest point. So you're never going to get completely rid of them by having your tank fill up. That's like a myth. Insects are great at adapting to their environment. So you have to get rid of that biofilm. All right, don't forget RV Knowledge Group. Thanks for watching.